Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabater again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dicus, Mike Lefkow. We're getting ready for a week 5 action of the high school football season here in the Bay Area. How you guys doing today?
Just fine.
Another great day in the Bay Area.
We're all living the dream. Another day
Yes,
in the Bay.
nice out there.
Another day in the Bay. It's beautiful outside. The sun looks like it's coming through the window. And let's get this thing going. So maybe some of us can go out and enjoy the nice sunshine. Joseph, you got to see De La Salle last week. It looks like I might be seeing them on Friday night. Spartans going to be making the trip up to Folsom for their annual game against the Bulldogs on the blue turf there in Folsom. Joseph, you came away impressed with De La Salle last week. Now, they weren't specifically running the spread before, but they were a little more balanced than obviously they are now, or at least the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks has just been run, and run some more, and basically getting back to an identity that De La Salle has had for many, many years. And you got to see it in full force on Friday night. And you came away impressed, right?
I was. It was. It got to the point. I think it was the second quarter. They had a drive where they ran the ball 13 consecutive times. It wasn't really fancy, and St. Mary's couldn't stop it. And I will say, De La Salle, they have very talented athletes. They don't have the most speed, I guess, at the tailback, so a lot of those runs were, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, keeping it going, keeping it moving.
Mm-hmm.
But then Toa, of course, Toa's got sprinter speed, so he kind of iced the game there. It was 17-3. It looks like he's going to get caught for about 15 yards, and he just accelerates.
Oh, he has sprinter speed. We know that he's a track guy with a lot of speed. We all took De La Salle last week. Mike Lefkow, you weren't surprised either, right, that the Spartans would play a game, but were you surprised that they'd hold St. Mary's to 10 points after St. Mary's scored 45 on them last year when you saw that game in Stockton?
No, I think De La Salle's defense is considerably improved this year. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Coach Allenbach calling the defensive plays?
I believe so.
And Terry Edson is working there as an assistant. I mean, I know not specifically on the defense, but you get both Allenbaugh and Edson back, and your defense is going to improve.
Yes, and it's very physical.
Yes.
I mean, even going back to the Sarah game, it was only 8-0 after 3 quarters, and then Sarah scored touchdowns in the fourth to put it away. And De La Salle obviously is not a team that can fall behind. They need to play. They play very well with the lead, more so than having to come back from a couple of scores behind, because that just causes turnovers and quarterback sacks and whatnot. But Folsom will present a huge challenge. It always is. De La Salle beat Folsom in a regional last year to make it to a state championship game. Folsom beat the Spartans in the regular season last year in Concord, and also beat them in Concord in the regional 2 years ago. So these teams have been very close the last couple of years, and I anticipate another close one on Friday night. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, even though Folsom can put up a lot of points. I think De La Salle wants to see that score to be similar to last week, something like 21-14, 20-14, somewhere around there. Mike, how do you see this game going?
I agree with you. I think they want it to be a defensive game. I think De La Salle is a little bit of a different team this year. They may run the same offense that they have. They emphasize the ground game, but I think the defense is where you're going to see considerable improvement this year. And I mean, defense wins football. You hold the team to 14 to 17 points, you've got a good chance to win the game. And I think that might be what De La Salle's trying to do this season.
The young DB they have back there is Jefferson, right? Jaden Jefferson. He's very good.
He's
and
very good.
he's going to have to be very good on Friday night for the Spartans to hold down Folsom. North Coast section. I got to see San Ramon Valley last week and started slow, 0-0 after the first quarter, and then they beat McClymonds 35-7. Which anytime you can beat McClymonds 35-7, that's saying something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now San Ramon has Liberty this week, and then they've got their bye, and then they got Clayton and then De La Salle. But we were talking yesterday off camera with 11 teams in the NCS Division I pool for the playoffs for 8 spots. The race for number 8 and 7 is going to be pretty tight. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be very tight.
So we got a game this week between Campo Lindo and Monta Vista that could go a long ways to determining who's in, right?
Right. Because you look at D1, and I mean, De La Salle, Pittsburgh, you got teams that you know are going to be in there. So there's really only there's 4 or 5 teams competing for those last 2 or 3 spots.
Right. The one thing that I did not check, I don't know if you did, Joseph, is check in with the NCS office. I probably should have read the bylaws. If you win your league, are you automatically in? Because I mean, right now James Logan at 0-4 is not going to get in as an at-large team. Do they get in as the if they were to win the WACC MVAL Foothill division, which that division, a lot of teams in that division are off to a really slow start.
They are. Tennyson, I think, just won their first game.
Yep. So if you win your league and you're in, that puts Campo wins its league, and Logan if it wins its league. But if not, then these games and Monta Vista, I mean, they're going to be fighting for one of those at-large spots there. And it'll be interesting to see. But that Campo Lindo Monta Vista game this week will tell us quite a bit, and also will probably have an impact when we get to the playoff seedings in about 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. Season's already in week 5.
Yep, we're almost at mid-season.
Yes. Mike Lefkow, any thoughts on NCS Division 1?
Yeah, I got a thought on it. Why can't they wait till after the season to determine these divisions? I mean, you're right. And the cruelty in me says it would be fun to see both Campo Lindo and James Logan win their leagues and have to go to the playoffs, and a couple good teams get left out. I mean, not to say that Campo Lindo and James Logan aren't good teams. They are good teams. But I think this year James Logan is a little bit down. Fortunately for them, they're in a weak division. And I think Campo Lindo, personally, I do not think Campo Lindo is a Division I team. I will side with Coach Macy on that.
Well, we all, yes.
I was gonna say,
I agree. I don't understand why they have to wait, why they have to make these decisions in the spring. Maybe for scheduling purposes. I don't know. I think it's kind of silly because you never know how a team is going to be from year to year. I mean, the CCS goes with its point system, so they don't know who's in their playoff brackets until sometimes the last weekend of the season, until all those results are in.
Fine.
And so no, Campo Lindo last year or the year before, maybe a Division I team. This year, so far through 3 games, not a Division I team. San Ramon Valley was a Division II team last year, and they are a Division I team this year, and I think that's the right spot for them this year.
I think some of it is based on school attendance, and Campo Lindo is a smaller school than San Ramon Valley.
It's had a lot of success and has continued to climb the competitive equity ladder. Before we get to the picks, Milpitas at 3-0. Are we surprised? And how big of a measuring stick will Friday's game in San Ramon be against California, which for a long time on Friday, looked as if it were going to upset Pittsburgh and then fell just a little short, losing by, I believe, a field goal. What are we going to learn, Mike Lefkow, about Milpitas on Friday night as the Trojans make the trip up 680 from their home to San Ramon?
I think a lot of it will depend on how California comes out and plays that game because, I mean, the one thing, and even Coach Calcagno said this, the one thing they have to do is guard against the letdown after the way they played against Pittsburgh. If California comes out fired up, running on all cylinders, then we'll find out how good Milpitas is because California is a good football team, a very good football team. Milpitas is an impressive 3-0 right now, but who have they beaten? I mean, they haven't played the top teams down in Central Coast section or any place else.
Right. No, this will be a big test for them. And even if they come out on the short end, if they can get out of there healthy, they've got a good shot in their league. They're in the PAL Ocean Division, so they're in one of the B leagues. They did have a running back, Jacob Alvarado, rushed for 328 yards, 4 touchdowns last week in a big victory over Santa Clara. So they got a running back, and I think they've got a line again.
Yeah, they do have a line again.
One of their coaches said that the COVID era is behind them. So, you know, we will see.
We will see.
Anything else you guys want to add in our quick talking points before we move on to the picks?
All I gotta say is I can't do worse this week than I did last week, right? In terms of picks.
You can, but you were 7-9, and you've fallen, I believe, like 8 games off the pace. Mike Lefkow trying to hang with me, although he took Santa Clara over Milpitas last week. I took Milpitas and got a win there. So, yeah, Joseph, you need a big week this week. So let's find out if you're headed in that direction. Game 1 on the list, and I do want to note that Joseph picked the games that we're predicting here, right?
I did.
Okay, starting off game 1, Friday night. Acalanes, which had last week off at 0-3, traveling to College Park for a DAL Foothill Division opener. I got Acalanes winning, and probably comfortably. I think they'll get their first win of the season. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going with Acalanes too.
Mike Lefkow?
Yep, Acalanes.
And the computer over at Cal Prep says Acalanes 38, College Park 7. Next game on the list, Campo Lindo, the game we were talking about, at 1-1-1, making the short trip over to Danville to play Monte Vista, which started 3-0 before losing last week in a thriller to Amador Valley. I got Monte Vista bouncing back and winning this one. I think this is a huge game for them, like we discussed, for playoff purposes. They got to win this one. I think they get it done at home. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Mustangs. I think they're at home, and I think they're a pretty good team.
Joseph?
I flip back and forth, but Monte Vista, I can't see them losing 2 in a row. So,
all right. And the computer says it's going to be close. Picks Monte Vista 28-21. Another big game. Liberty off to a really, really strong start. 3-1, could easily be 4-0. Had a couple touchdown lead a couple weeks ago against Los Gatos and ended up losing by a point. They're making a trip to Danville to play San Ramon Valley at 4-0. Not just 4-0, a very impressive 4-0. If they go to 5-0 and beat Liberty the way they've beaten SI, Acalanes, who else they play? SI, Acalanes, Elk Grove, and McClymonds. Elk Grove and McClymonds. Be an amazing 5-0. I got San Ramon winning at home. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I have to go with San Ramon. I think this could be their year.
Joseph?
I hate to agree with you guys. Give me San Ramon. And I think the computers had San Ramon winning in a blowout.
Yes, 49-17.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. I don't think it's going to be that bad.
He plays it a little bit closer than that.
We will see. Milpitas at 3-0. Just we discussed this a little earlier. Traveling to San Ramon to play California at 2-2. The Grizzlies coming off that tough loss at Pittsburgh last week. Computer says California will hammer Milpitas 49-6. I think it's going to be a California win, probably comfortably. I don't know if it'll be 49-6, but I'm taking Cal. Joseph, who you got?
I'm gonna say the computer is gonna be wrong. Milpitas comes away with the huge upset.
Ooh, why? Why?
You know, I think they're on a roll. They're on a roll,
Is it
and
a gut feeling?
maybe California has a little bit of what Lefty said, a little bit of that letdown week, that trap week, hangover week.
Mike Lefkow, do you think they're going to have enough of a hangover to lose to Milpitas at home on Friday night?
No, I think they might have a little bit of a hangover from that game against Pitt, but that'll just mean it's a little bit closer game. No, I think California. I mean, California has got some good players. Dan Calcagno is a terrific coach. And I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Milpitas. Milpitas is probably back to being a better team than they were during the pandemic. But I don't know who has Milpitas beaten so far.
Well, they beat Doherty
Valley.
I think.
They beat Independence and Santa Clara.
Doherty Valley, Santa Clara, and who?
Independence.
Yeah, I think California wins this game. I mean, take away nothing from those teams, but they haven't faced anything close to California yet.
All right. So 2 for California, 1 for Milpitas. Game 6 on the list. Mitty at 3-0, traveling to St. Francis 1-2 for a WCAL opener. Rematch of a game, their CCS semifinal game last year, which Mitty won in overtime to make it to the CCS Division I final. Mitty's 3-0. Well, this will be a big test for Mitty because Mitty's 3 opponents entered last weekend a combined 0-9, while St. Francis has played Helix, Monterey Trail Out Grove on the road, and De La Salle. Was competitive with De La Salle for much of the way. I think the schedule and being battle tested, while a cliche, is going to come to fruition and come to the forefront here. I think St. Francis wins over Mitty. Joseph, who you got?
St. Francis.
Mike Lefkow?
Yep, give me the Lancers. I think it'll be a close game, though. But
do you agree on the schedules? That I mean, there's 2 ways to go. I mean, you know, Mitty turned over much of its roster, so I think scheduling the way it did.
With that said, I do think Mitty preseason, you would have said that Apto, Santa Teresa,
and Logan
looked good
going
on
in
paper. Going in,
point. Very good point.
No, I agree. That is a good point.
Yes. Instead and Aptos, I think, is still a really good team. Logan, I'm not sure what's going on there, but I did not expect 0-4 from Logan.
No, their schedule it's not been an easy schedule though so far. So I wouldn't say it's a horrible 0-4, but yeah, they've underachieved a little bit.
Yep. Game 7 on the list, Antioch at Tennyson. Antioch 3-1, Tennyson 1-3. Tennyson won its first game last week. I don't think they win this week. I'm taking Antioch to win. Computer says Antioch 38-7. Oh, the computer also says St. Francis 40-21. So who do you got, Joseph?
Antioch.
Lefty?
Yep, I'm going with Antioch.
All right. Branham at Live Oak. Live Oak 3-0. Branham 3-0. Live Oak possibly would have been 3-1 had it played Los Gatos a couple weeks ago. It pulled out of that game. I think they'll go to 4-0. I think their win over Mountain View on the road looks better and better as Mountain View continues to play really, really good football. Branham is 3-0 and was impressive last week, but I think they beat Lynbrook last week. This is going to be a major step up in competition. So I'm taking Live Oak at home. Computer says Live Oak 40-24. Joseph, who you got?
Give me the home team, Live Oak.
Mike Lefkow.
Yeah, I think Live Oak wins this game.
All right, Palo Alto at MA. MA 1-3, Palo Alto 2-2. MA lost last week, I think, by 2 touchdowns to Menlo School. They're at home. They got to if they're going to turn around their season, it's got to start now. I'm taking MA to win a close one. Joseph, who you got?
Palo Alto.
Mike Lefkow.
I'm going to go with MA.
And the computer says MA 21-14. De La Salle at Folsom. Like we discussed earlier, for De La Salle to win, and this has got to be a defensive battle. De La Salle's got to control the clock with its running game and play physical defense. If they do that, I think they've got a very good shot. I'll let you go first, Joseph. Who you got?
I think Folsom pulls it out. Folsom played Sarah very tough, and they're playing at home.
They've got a really good quarterback.
Really good quarterback. I can't see Folsom losing, although I think De La Salle will keep it competitive.
Mike Lefkow.
I'm going to go with the Spartans. I think their defense is good. I like the way they're coming together. I think De La Salle pulls this one off.
I'm taking De La Salle 2 to win a nail biter. And the computer says Folsom 21-17. Mount Diablo at Castlemont. Mount Diablo at 3-1. Castlemont 1-2. I got Mount Diablo. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
I'm going to take Castlemont.
Joseph?
I'm gonna take Mount Diablo. Herschel Turner is probably going to be the best player on the field. I think that means something.
And the computer says Castlemont by 2 touchdowns, 35-21. Wilcox, as Joseph reported in Monday Morning Lights, picked up a game after the Kings Academy pulled out of a game against Wilcox, which I think would have been played last week. So Wilcox is going to pick up a game, so they will play 10 this season. They're going to be playing a Edison of Huntington Beach team that is 1-3, but I did a little research on this game. I wasn't just going to pick blindly. And Edison's 3 losses. Mike Lefkow, tell me the record of the 3 teams that have beaten Edison this year.
They're 15-0.
16. 16-0.
16. I thought I'd said 15, but
16, I think. 5-0, 5-0.
They were all 5-0.
I think 1-6-0 is what I saw, but maybe that was a typo.
Well, anyway, they're undefeated, and they played a very tough schedule.
And they played Helix, but to a 4-point game. That was the Helix team that blew out St. Francis, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good team, Edison. A very good team.
As much as I wanted to pick Wilcox, I'm taking Edison. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, no, I got to go with Edison in this one.
Joseph?
You know, this is one of those where I'm like, I want to take Wilcox, but give me Edison too. I think Edison.
I mean, Wilcox does run the veer, so I don't know how much veer Edison has seen. It's not an easy offense to prepare for in a short amount of time. Right. Although these teams have known for a couple of, I think, more than a week that they were playing one, and they just needed to figure out where. They had talked about it. I talked to Paul Rosa last week, and he said they had lined up a game. They just didn't know where it would be. So,
well, I also think Edison probably has some good athletes, so they might be able to handle it there.
I'm guessing. Okay, so we're all taking Edison. We got 3 more games left. Let's go real quickly. We got Cardinal Newman at St. Mary's of Berkeley on Saturday. Edison was picked to win 31-6 over Wilcox. I got Cardinal Newman beating St. Mary's. Computer agrees 28-7. The computer says Cardinal Newman will win. Joseph, who you got?
I'll take Cardinal Newman. Although I think St. Mary's will keep it closer than 28-7, maybe like 28-17.
Mike Lefkow.
Yeah, I have to go with Cardinal Newman, but I don't think it'll be a running clock.
Okay. WCAL opener. Bellarmine and Valley Christian. Valley at 3-0 and Bellarmine at 1-2. Bellarmine last game was that 40 to 30 loss at Monte Vista 2 weeks ago. I got Valley going 4-0. Computer also says Valley 31-13. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yep, I'm going to go with Valley Christian.
And Joseph?
Give me the upset. I'll take Bellarmine.
Joseph's taking Bellarmine. Okay. Last game on the list, afternoon game in the city. St. Ignatius at 2-1. The one loss was in the season opener to San Ramon Valley by 28 points, I think, right? It was like
A lot.
42-14. But SI has looked very impressive in beating Jesuit and Cathedral Catholic of San Diego in its last two games. We're taking on Reardon team you saw, Joseph,
Yes.
lose to
St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonaventure. That's right, in its last game.
Hmm.
This was a tough one for me to pick. I'm going to take Reardon to win in a very close one. Joseph, who you got?
I think Reardon's going to win too.
Mike Lefkow?
I'm going to go with SI.
Why?
I like SI's quarterback. I think they've got some good explosive skill players, so does Reardon.
Hmm.
But I just feel that SI, it's going to be I could see it being a 28-27 game, but I think SI is just a little bit better.
And keeping up with the roundups, it looks like SI's got some good running backs too. Some very talented running backs. I wonder if they're going to try to do what St. Bonaventure did and kind of hold the ball.
Well, the computer did its research too and says SI is going to come out of there with a 2-touchdown win, 42-28.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up our week 5 prediction show?
As always, please nominate your athletes for Athlete of the Week.
True.
Boys and girls, we take any. And,
Please sign up. Please sign up with for a digital subscription.
Mhm.
Right?
We love those, and thank you as always for your readership and continued support.
Mike Lefkow, anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, I'm looking forward to that De La Salle Folsom game. I think that's going to be a real interesting game.
Do you want us to stop by your house and pick you up?
I wouldn't mind going to see that game.
Well, let's see. If we get Lefty there, we will definitely take a picture and put it on our X or Twitter account, which I'm not sure how much longer we're going to have an X or Twitter account. I'm seeing a report today that they're going to start charging.
Yeah, we'll see how that
really?
goes.
That'll drive a lot of customers away, a lot of people away.
Not you though, Mike Lefkow, with all your big bucks.
How much are they planning to charge?
It hasn't been released yet, I don't think.
It was a story was it
Variety magazine?
Was it Variety magazine? It was something. Yeah. So, well, we'll have to find another way to communicate. So anyhow, that's a wrap for me. Wrap for you guys too?
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks as always.